As of merely 2 hours ago, I have a brand new understanding of why it's important for me, to go to rehab, or at least to do recovery. Um, I I've been pretty public about it. I imagine uh, as a general populace, you all know that I've been waffling about recovery for a really long time and working through issues and mental blocks and expressing doubts, and also enthusiasm, and not really finding it, not finding that I can't follow through with it, really stick to it so far. And as of now, I think the reason that I couldn't stick to it is because I just didn't know what the stakes were. So I'm gonna tell you what I figured out. It's very simple. Basically, it's really simple, but I don't want to just out and say it for some reason. I have been very actively getting all kind of twisted up in thoughts and considerations about the the onset of my power, the anti-Christian power that will course through me for 42 months. And today I realized that I realized that once my power runs out, it will be impossible for me to get any sort of other source of anti-Christian flow. So, meth won't work and magic won't work, and mania will, I'm not even sure what'll happen with that, but the point is that in that point in my personal timeline, which of course corresponds to the cosmological timeline, the end of my power, aka the time of the healing of my brokenness, aka November 11th, 2025, will mark the actual end of the fall. There will no longer be in my reference point for the universe any error existent whatsoever. And I feel like this is not fluid enough for me to post online. I'm managing, but it's not great. We'll see. I'll finish it just because. Okay, so at that point, it won't be possible to stick my foot out and be pummeled by the ongoing flow of red error charges, which precedes every step of the way the Christ, which rushes after it. So the stream of red charges, which I also call anti-Christian flow, is well, it's finite. It's not like the Christian flow, and it has a beginning and an end, and a very significant part of my work is to provide it with that end, and that end is to take place within me, and it will do so inexorably. There's no question in my mind whatsoever that I am going to wake up on that first day after the waning of my power, and if I, I could eat a gram of speed and nothing would happen but side effects. I wouldn't experience any sort of flow, because the underlying metaphysical mechanism for that flow will no longer be present in reality. And at that point, I'll have to rely only on the Christian flow to get me through things. And it is for that time, that future epoch, that I ought to be seeking to get recovery now. Because if I don't, I will be utterly immobile, unable to do anything, having no strength, no will, no agency, no power. I will be without the power that I spent 3.5 years on. I'll have spent 3.5 years on. I will just be empty, and I will have to pretty much just suffer in that for literally a matter of years. I don't know how many years. It probably will take the whole rest of that septaria, that 7-year cycle, to resolve that. And it's incredibly awful, and it doesn't have to be that way. Zachary, when I told him I wanted to play forever, he told me, but it doesn't have to be that way, and he couldn't find the words to impress upon me what he was trying to say, but so many times since then I've thought back to that and thought, gee, I wish I'd understood what he was saying when he said it didn't have to be that way. And I'm thinking that now, at last, I do, that I'm ahead of the curve, or, I mean, really, I'm behind the curve, but I'm, well, you know. So, so the reason for me, so I don't particularly need to have done recovery in order to manage and use my power when it comes, and to do so well, because I'm incredibly adept at working the left-hand path, at manipulating or working within the okay, that sounds braggadocious. What I'm trying to say is that I would be well able to act pretty righteously from being on the left-hand path with the flow from my power, anti-Christian power, and which isn't to say that it wouldn't be of additional benefit to already be perfect and be totally free of error by that point. But I honestly think that in that circumstance, I could, of not being enlightened quite yet, but being close and having this seemingly temporarily inexhaustible anti-Christian flow that that I would be able to use that anti-Christian flow to very quickly make up the difference so that my behavior became perfect, so that my behavior were just as righteous, although in this case leftist. What do you think of that? As if I were living from the right-hand path, but that growth would not be transferable to the right-hand path when the power failed, when the power ceased to flow. So basically my reason, the reason that I have, that's totally selfish, totally for me, that feels like it's really opening a window and letting some stable sense into this equation, because I can't tell you how many times I'll go through a psychosomatic state change or just a mental state change and have to think, okay, now why do I have to do recovery again? Or do I have to do recovery, especially when I get high, but even other state changes. And I could just never hold on to the answers. Like, I could always arrive at an answer that satisfied me at the time being, but I never had something that was simple and concrete enough and kind of indubitable, like this is. I can say very simply, straightforwardly, that if I don't do recovery now, I will suffer greatly more than I will if I do it now. As hard as it is to start recovery from this state where I have been